So we're gonna go ahead and get everybody lined up and just absolutely shred through them one shot at a time. As you guys can see, it gets a little bit ridiculous with how many enemies you can kill in one shot. Alrighty boys, welcome back once again to another video. How you guys doing? Guys, today we're going to be taking a look at the new retro sci-fi shotgun known as the Pulsar 9000 in Fortnite Save the World. Now, this is a weapon, of course, that we have talked about like about a week ago whenever it got leaked in the game files. We knew that this was coming and it finally released tonight. So is it good? That's the question we're going to be answering in today's video. One thing I do want to say before we do jump into it is that JT, I don't know if you guys know who he is. He's a battle royale YouTuber. Yesterday, whenever we were streaming on Twitch, he dropped 30 gifted subs within the first 30 minutes of us going live. That's $150 worth of subscriptions just out in the blue, just out of random. And JT, I just want to give you a huge shout out, man. He will be linked in the first link in the description. He's a fantastic battle royale content creator, and I just thank you so much, dude. That was really nice of you, and you definitely put a lot of smiles on people's faces. But let's go ahead and jump into the video and talk about the Pulsar 9000. Now, if you guys do want to pick this weapon up, you can actually find it from the item shop. One thing that should be mentioned is that actually right now you're able to pick up one free year 1 birthday llama, but unfortunately it seems like Epic dropped the ball and you're able to get expansion weapons and even some duplicates out of these things. Not exactly sure the brain power behind that one, but of course that is something that is going on, and you guys can go to the X-ray tab and pick it up if you want to for absolutely free. If we go and head on over to the items, this is where you will be able to find your Pulsar 9000 right here for 1,680 gold. So let's go ahead and take a look at the schematic, take a look at the rolls on it, and then take a look at the hero loadout that we're going to be using with this weapon. Now, the Pulsar 9000 says right down here that it's a shotgun of retro sci-fi, and it's a mid-range energy shotgun that shoots large rings of plasma, and those shots will pierce enemies. Now, for the rolls of this weapon, I decided to go with energy, crit rate, reload speed, and crit damage. This weapon is actually not going to be like the Plasmatron, which has the likes of stuff like cooling rate and has, you know, heat capacity and all that kind of stuff. It's very much different. It's like your traditional shotgun, so you're going to have reload speed on this thing. Now, if we take a look, the damage of this weapon is absolutely ridiculous. It has no headshot damage multiplier. The crit hit chance is at a base of 10, but with the double crit rating, you're going to be getting up to 51%, which is ridiculous because you do got to keep in mind that this thing is going to be piercing enemies, so you will have a chance of hitting like 10 enemies at one time and being able to crit on almost every single one of them, you know, at least over half of them. The crit hit damage is 410% if you are using the correct build. We're looking at a 1.22 fire rate, 20 in the mag, a very small range, and I'll showcase this in the game. Durability 300, a reload speed of 2.3, which is very quick. Ammo cost is 4, so even though it does have a magazine size of 20, the ammo cost being 4 means that you will have 5 shots before you reload, and the impact is 2,570. So that is your Pulsar 9000. If we go and take a look at the build that we're using with this, we are using Buckshot Raptor. You get him from the collection book for getting level 100. He is the best shotgun hero in the game with an increased critical damage of 225%, preemptive strike for extra damage on enemies with full health, shell shock for the extra shotgun damage, locked and reloaded. After every reload you get extra damage, plasma arc. In all honesty, this is a must on this weapon. It's very effective. Cyberclops is absolutely insane. It's going to allow your attacks to chain to other enemies for extra damage. We're going to have leadership, which will decrease the cooldown of Warcry, which is very good for shotgun heroes, and we have Saurian Might, which this will increase our damage for every 1 second based off of our health. So the mission that we're going to be jumping into with this weapon is going to be our usual level 124, and lucky for us, we actually have one with no modifiers and it's a power level 124. This is the perfect mission to test out this weapon. So we're going to hop in, take a look at the Pulsar 9000, see if we can get a smasher test in as well, and just take a look at the weapon in general. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Alrighty boyos, so here we are in game. I think we actually just got insanely lucky. I think there's actually a smasher right off the bat. Yeah, there is. Normally I wait just a moment to look around for a smasher before I, start commentating. but I literally just spawned in and I could hear one breathing, so that's actually some ridiculous luck right here. Yeah, so we have a smasher right here. Let me make sure that I grab the correct one. Before I did this whole review, I ended up checking out the crit rating and the damage as well. The crit rating, crit damage, and damage. Didn't really care for it too much, so I went with the double crit rating. So we do have the correct one equipped, and we actually have a smasher boy right here that we can test out on. Of course, we're going to be testing out this weapon on a bunch of encampments as well. But I guess before we do the smasher test, let's just go ahead and get a little bit acquainted with how this weapon fires. And we actually have a elemental smasher over there for some, pretty perfect test. So this is how the weapon fires, and this is what it looks like. A very unique firing with this weapon, something that you don't really see that much of. It's very much like the Plasmatron in a way, except of course without the cooling rate and the unlimited ammo. Essentially, if you guys are curious as to the range of this weapon, you're looking at about one tile. See if I stand in the middle of this one and shoot. Yeah, you're looking at about one tile, because that's whenever that almost faces through the wall. So it does only have a tile range, which is one of those things that I'm not really too keen on. The weapon is a little bit niche in the situations that you use it in, but of course I'll get more in depth about that whenever we're doing that encampment over there. But what we're going to go ahead and do is we are going to talk to Mr. Smashy Boy over here, introduce him to the Pulsar 9000, and see exactly what kind of damage we can do using it. Do keep in mind, as with all of my reviews, I am solo, so I am not getting buffed by a full team. This weapon will do much more damage in a full team scenario than it is now, but 124 seemed to be a pretty good kind of testing ground whenever it does come to solo tests. So let's go ahead and get the smasher out over here. I'm going to go ahead and do that really quick, do a little slow field, and let's see how many bullets it takes us. Wow, we are getting insanely lucky on those crits. Wow. We got really lucky on those crits. Okay, so that was 5 shots. That was really good. That was a very good smasher test right there. 5 shots and he is out. Do keep in mind that this weapon right here is mainly, its main purpose is going to be used for multi-target damage. So being able to take out a smasher like that in that little amount of time is really crucial to seeing how good this weapon is. Now, of course, one of its downsides being its range, but whenever you are in range, you will be shredding everything that comes your way. Now, one thing that was mentioned to me during the Twitch chat, while we were streaming, somebody said in Twitch chat that you could double pump this weapon, and it could be the double bubble pump, in a sense, where you can swap from this weapon to another weapon in your hotbar, of the same kind, and being able to shoot it at an even faster rate for even more destruction. If you guys are curious as to what that looks like, this is what that looks like. And so what we're going to do, just for funsies, is we're going to test this out on that smasher over there. By the way, you can see the very quick reload of this weapon as well. But we're going to do that little double pump test, the double bubble test on this smasher right here, and see exactly how much damage we can cause. So let me go ahead and get rid of him, get the smasher over there, and let's test this out really quick. So this guy's elemental, of course. And as you see, we are getting very unlucky on this smasher with our crits. That is very surprising. Almost no crits in those first few shots. So that was very bad. Not something that you really want to experience with this weapon. Kind of going back to that other, thing that I mentioned, and how this weapon is really meant for multi-target damage, in the sense that if you don't crit on one enemy, chances are you'll be able to crit on some of the other ones. But that was a little bit of a showcase as to the double bubble kind of playstyle with this weapon. Very surprised to see that we got so unlucky on those crits. But then again, this weapon isn't even meant for smashers to begin with. Now, let's go ahead and showcase this weapon under optimal circumstances. A close ranged engagement with multiple enemies to deal with. And what better way to showcase this than an encampment mission? And this weapon definitely does remind me of the deatomizer, for sure. It's really good for encampments. It's very good in close ranged encounters with multiple enemies, seeing as the weapon itself is a little bit limited on its own range. But we're going to go ahead and head on over to this encampment right here. And I'm going to try my best to see how fast we can really clear it out using just this weapon. So we're going to go ahead and get everybody lined up and just absolutely shred through them one shot at a time. As you guys can see, it gets a little bit ridiculous with how many enemies you can kill in one shot. And there you go. Had we not dealt with the, you know, fire enemies over there, we could have definitely cleared that encampment out a little bit faster. But yeah, we were able to kill, like, I mean, if I were to guess at that amount of enemies, maybe 13 in one shot. It definitely can get up there. I mean, you're pretty much able to kill as many enemies as can fit in the bubble and fit behind each other for a 1-tile radius. It gets a little bit insane. I'm going to showcase it one more time right here for this encampment. I'm going to throw it on a slow field just in case. Let's pop a war cry really quick, and let's just see what we can do. Actually, we're kind of getting eaten up by the fire element. There we go. By the little gunslinger there. That was a little bit of a rip, but that's okay. That's why I like to do 124s, because it's kind of on the border of husks doing a lot of damage to you. But if we go ahead and get up, there we go. Perfect showcase. Whenever they're sitting in the slow field, perfect showcase of this weapon being very good whenever enemies are clumped up. And there we go. And we can go ahead and take out that blaster with ease. I think there's another enemy. Oh no, we got multiple spawns. I forget how the Sword of the Encampments works, because I haven't run them in a while because of how bad the rewards can be. And how, like, weird the modifiers have been recently. But yeah, let's go ahead and clear the rest of these guys up using this weapon. And as you guys can see, it's just so many husks in one shot. And then keep in mind, this is a shotgun, you know? This is only a shotgun, and it's being able to clear out that many enemies in one shot. Pretty ridiculous. Whenever it does come down, I think we have a smasher down here, maybe? Is there a basement? Is there a basement to this place? Let me see. There might be. No. Okay. I think he's above. There he is. He's a roof smasher. Oh, wait, he smashed his way through. Fog. Okay. So, he kind of makes his little rude entrance here. So we can go ahead and delete this man's using the double bubble. Getting a few unlucky crits in there. But that's okay. There we go. There's a little riot boy right here. For those of you guys that are curious, you are not able to shoot through a riot shield. However, if you just shoot a little bit to the right of them, you'll actually be able to kill them. The way that the bubble expands, it's able to kill a riot husky from the side, which is very useful. It's almost like a rocket launcher in a way. It does not blow up propanes, for any of you guys that are curious about that as well. So you really don't have much to really worry about. This weapon's pretty fantastic in a lot of different areas, but its main, you know, kind of shortcoming is its range. If I were really to kind of elaborate a little bit on its range, if you were to use this weapon and only this weapon on a shotgun loadout, I would definitely not recommend it. For any of you guys that do like running shotguns consistently, this weapon, however, does fit very well in a loadout that is built for it. So mostly what I would really suggest on any of you guys that do main shotgun heroes and really enjoy that kind of stuff, there's actually another smasher, is to use this weapon in your loadout, but only use it in specific situations. So let's say, for example, you know, I'm somebody that mains shotguns a lot. I like to use shotguns, you know, pretty often. Well, what you really want to have is you want to have your long range shotguns, you want to have your rapid fire shotgun, and then you want to have this Pulsar 9000. So if we're sitting back and thinking about it, and thinking about, you know, what you would use necessarily in a loadout, what you could use is you could use the helium shotgun. This is going to be a weapon that you would be able to use at long range. Of course, you could also use the Vendortech disintegrator if you wanted to. Either way, make sure that you pick a long range shotgun. The next shotgun that you might want to use would be something like a Tiger Jaw or a Room Sweeper. I would recommend the Tiger Jaw because I do believe it has better DPS. But let's say you go ahead and get a rapid fire shotgun. Then the last shotgun that you might want to pick would be the Pulsar 9000. This would be the shotgun that you would use to clear out encampments. If you are in a mission and things are getting a little bit hairy, let's say that you have husks beating at this portion of your wall at your base, you'll be able to whip out the Pulsar 9000 and clear out multiple of them in one shot, which is very useful. And this weapon right here kind of has its own niche whenever it does come to a shotgun build. If I had to give like a brief synopsis on what I think about it, it is definitely a 9 out of 10 for me. It is one of my favorite shotguns in the game. It's been a while since I've used a shotgun, and I've genuinely enjoyed using every single second that I'm using the shotgun. It's been a while that I've really enjoyed every single one of those seconds. And it's really rare that we do get new shotguns, and whenever we do, they've just been kind of eh. In this case, though, the Pulsar 9000 definitely serves a spot in my loadout whenever it comes to using it. Anytime I'm in close range engagements, especially if I am using a shotgun hero, you know, I can put away a Vendor-Tech Disintegrator if I have it, helium shotgun, double boiler, and whip this thing out, and being able to kill multiple upon multiple upon multiple enemies at once. I do feel as though this weapon has replaced the Dragoon in what it does. The Dragoon was really good for multi-target damage and wave clear, but to me this weapon just does it way better. Of course, it doesn't ignite propanes. It's able to kill riot huskies, you know, from the front. All you got to do is just aim a little bit to the side. It's just able to kill more enemies and more beefier enemies as well. And although it doesn't have the impact that the Dragoon has, I can go and showcase the Riot Husky again, even though it doesn't have the impact that the Dragoon has, you're not going to need it, as you're going to be killing anything that you would have impacted anyways. The Pulsar 9000, without a doubt, at least in my opinion, I've heard some people say they didn't really care too much for it. To me, this is one of the most overpowered shotguns in the game. Despite having such a low range, whenever you do have husks get within that range and you have no death burst to worry about, this thing, it's just amazing in every which way. It can be used on high health enemies, and it can be used on multi-targets and, you know, the smaller health enemies and all that kind of stuff. But in my opinion, the Pulsar 9000, one of my favorite shotguns in the game, one of the more useful ones in the game, and for those of you guys that are shotgun mains, I would definitely suggest having this in your loadout at pretty much any given time. But guys, that's pretty much it for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about the Pulsar 9000. It's definitely one of the most enjoyable weapons that I've tried in a while, and I'm really curious as to what you guys think. So thank you guys so much for checking out the video. I greatly do appreciate it. Subscribe if you're new around here. I do videos like this almost every single day. Make sure to go check out the Twitch. I stream over there 5 times a week. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Like the video if you liked it. Dislike if you did not. Subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys next time.